Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today in this video we're going to be going over the Magicka DK build for Murkmire. Now, this is a build I've been running for a while now. I'm still loving this build even in Murkmire. It pumps out a huge damage, has huge recovery, and it's absolutely great. Now, max Magicka is 38.5. Max recovery is 1.3. Max health is 16.6. Spell damage is 2.1k and spell crit is 52.4. I have 64 points into Magicka. And the boon I'm running is the Thief, and I'm using Witch Mother's Brew. Now, if you use buy stat food, your Magicka will go up over 40,000, or a little bit over 40,000, and your max health goes up to around 18k, but your magic recovery will drop to around 900. So, champion points. I have 31 into Warlord, 23 into Sprinter, 66 into Tenacity, 75 into Arcanist, 38 into Shadow Ward, 37 into Tumbling, 51 Elfborn, 64 Elemental Expert, 25 Spell Erosion, 35 Staff Expert, 51 Master at Arms, and 44 Thermometer. 28 Ironclad, 29 Spell Shield, 20 Medium Armor Focus, 64 Hardy, 64 Elemental Defender, 37 Quick Recovery, and 28 Bastion. Now, sets. The first 5-piece set that I'm running is Burning Spellweave. It's a great set for Magicka because just about every ability that we're pretty much going to be using is fire, so you will have no problem proccing this at all. I run a Inferno Staff with a flame damage enchant, Nern. Now, you can run Infused as well, and if you run Infused, I'd suggest going with a weapon damage enchant, but because I'm running Nern, I'm just running a flame damage enchant on the front bar. Now, what Burning Spellweave does, it gives you max Magicka. Gives you spell damage, spell crit. And when you deal damage with a flame damage ability, like I said, we have a ton of them as a Magicka. You have 15% chance to apply the burning status effect to the enemy, increase your spell damage by 507 for 8 seconds. That can occur once every 12 seconds. Now, Spell Strategist is a good set as well. It came out with Murkmire. It's a PvP award, so you can get it from the Rewards of the Worthy, or you can buy them on Guild Traders. But that is a single target, where Burning Spellweave just applies damage to all my abilities, and so therefore it will not just affect one person with that damage increase or that single target, it will affect everybody. So my AoEs will still do more damage with Burning Spellweave than with Spell Strategist. Now, back bar, Maelstrom Inferno, infused with a shock damage enchant. Run a shock damage enchant to help keep concuss up if for whatever reason you get those dungeons where it just, when you get the dungeon where the healer isn't running a lightning staff, they're a stam warden healer, or you just don't have a healer in general, shock damage to kind of help keep concuss up. Usually in trials, I will change the shock damage enchant out for a weapon damage enchant, or I'll put the weapon damage on the front bar and put the flame damage on the back bar, just whichever one I'm feeling at the time. Now the monster set that I'm running is Valkynscoria. Infused heavy head with max Magicka and medium shoulders divines with max Magicka. Now, Scoria. The 1-piece gives you max health, and the 2-piece, when you deal damage with a damage over time effect, you have 8% chance to summon a meteor that deals 13.1k flame damage to the target and 5.7k flame damage to all other enemies within 5 meteors. This effect can occur once every 5 seconds. You rain down meteors like crazy with this. I've seen it come down and hit dead bodies because it's just crazy how often this procs. Now, you can run Zons as well here. We're already up close and personal. Go ahead and run Zons if you have it. Run it. But Valkynscoria or Zons would be the two that I pick. I go with Scoria because of the fact that the max health. That's it. Plus the damage from the meteor is AOE damage, so that's just a little more AOE damage when we pull mobs. But Zons and trials, just boss burning, I will switch it out. Like in Maw, where I can't think of the boss names for whatever reason, but he's the one that summons the big pillars. You can just sit there, stay up on him, and just keep Zons going on him. So if you're close to, the Atro and AA as well, those are bosses that don't really have mobs to them, where you can just stand and burn. So Zons would perform better there. So if you have Zons, I would switch them out there. But if you don't, it's no big deal. Scoria comes from City of Ash 2, which can be kind of complicated on Vet. So if you don't have it, and of course Zon's a Scale Caller, which is another extremely kind of difficult dungeon on vet. So if you don't have either one of those or having trouble getting through those, you can always replace this with a Lambrus for distance. Lambrus gives you max Magicka, and it will rain down fire, rain down meteor, does a pretty good chunk of damage. Or Groftar, which comes from Balls of Madness, gives AoE fire damage for up close and personal, and the one piece gives you max Magicka either way. Now Lambrus comes from Crypto Hearts 1. So, anyways, the second 5-piece set that I'm running is Moondancer. I run a Divine's Chest with max Magicka. What this does is it gives you max Magicka on 2-piece, 3-piece, gives me Minor Slayer, increasing my damage done by dungeon and trial monsters and arena monsters by 5%. Spell damage, and then 5-piece is when you activate your synergy, you gain a Shadow Blessing that increases your spell damage by 432, or your Lunar Blessing that increases your magic cover by 432 for 30 seconds. You only have one Blessif active at a time. So, synergies, you should be getting these like crazy in most trials, conduits, orbs, so there should be plenty of synergies for you to pop without actually taking the synergy, the orb or the shard from the tank. There should be plenty synergies in trials. 4-man content, maybe not so much. If that does seem to be the case, you can replace this with, say, like Julianos, or you can rock Seducer for decrease, that 8% reducing your abilities, whatever it is that you choose. Or you can put Spell Strategist here as well and run that with Burning Spellweave, which wouldn't be a bad setup either. But anyways, so I run a Burning Spellweave Sash Divines, max Magicka, Burning Spellweave Gloves Divines, max Magicka, Moondancer Breeches Divines, max Magicka, and Burning Spellweave Shoes Divines with max Magicka. And then I'm running 3-piece Moondancer on the jewelry, 2 with spell damage, 1 with magic recovery, all arcane. You could definitely transmute one of these to Bloodthirsty, or 2 of them. It's entirely up to you. But our magic pool is 38k, so you should definitely have, the head, the chest, and the legs all infused. So that way you'll have, it kind of balances out the magic pool. So, anyways, let's see if we can get lucky real quick. And see, I have my wife here, her tune. She's going to throw me a shard here, and we're going to see if I can get lucky and get back-to-back increase weapon damage and magic recovery. Hoping. I'm only going to do this a couple times, so I'm hoping maybe I can get both of them back-to-back. So, shard. Before I pop it, as you can see, magic recovery, spell damage, unbuff, all that. So, the first one is magic recovery. It's 1.9 without a pot, so let's go ahead and pop the trash pot. 2.2. That's a lot of magic recovery. So we're going to have no problem sustaining when that goes off. So we can just continue to go with our abilities, and it will absolutely not hurt anything at 2.2. So, alright, it should be wearing off here in just a few seconds. So, hopefully we get lucky and we get spell damage this time around. We did not. We got magic recovery again. Okay. So let's see. Let's just smack the dummy a little bit. We'll get Burning Spellweave proc. And then we'll proc a pot. Well, I missed that timing up there. So while we still have it procced, come on, proc. There we go. So spell damage is 3.1. Spell crit's 52.4. And that was 2.2. Alright. So now let's try this again. Hopefully we'll get our spell damage this time around. There we go. The eye is spell damage, so we have that. Now, seeing how I don't have a pot active, we will use Molten Ornaments here just to show this off. So we're going to get Burning Spellweave procced. That. And we're looking at 3.6k spell damage. So 3.6k spell damage is quite a bit. So as you can see, we go up and we go down. So we're either going to be pumping out a lot of damage, and at some points, if you put a weapon damage enchant on your main hand, which I do believe I run on the Precise, I've seen it up over 4k. So when you have a weapon damage enchant on, you can definitely push this higher. I've seen it well anywhere between the 4k to 4.5, depending on everything active. So with an infused, you're going to be looking at more damage than that as well. So So you can definitely pump out a lot of damage while having the sustainability. You know, so that's why I like Moon Dancer. You know, it is random. Sometimes it doesn't always work when you want it, but it does come in handy a lot of times. So, on to the skills. Flame Lash. This is our main spammable. Lash an enemy with flame, dealing 9.5k flame damage. If you strike an enemy that is immobilized or stunned, you set them off balance. Targeting an off balance enemy changes its ability into Power Lash, allowing you to lash an enemy with more intense flame at half cost to deal 11.2k flame damage and heal you for 13.1k health over 2 seconds. Effect can occur once every 3 seconds. Engulfing Flames. Exhale a flame blast to enemies in front of you, dealing 2.3k flame damage and an additional 11,000 flame damage over 10 seconds. Effective enemy takes 10% more damage from all fire attacks. Burning Ember. Slash an enemy with flame, dealing 4.8k flame damage and an additional 15.2k flame damage over 10.5 seconds. Heals you for 75% of the total damage inflicted when the effect ends. So, because it heals you, you definitely want to keep this active. Essentially, those two, you want to keep going, because one of them is going to give you a heal when it ends for the damage, and this is going to allow you to deal more damage with your flame damage ability. And being a dark elf, we're already going to get a huge chunk. See, what was it, like 8% or so extra? 7%. So we're already getting a huge chunk of extra damage to begin with. So, Harness Magicka, shield on the front bar. Surround yourself with a net of magic negation to absorb up to 6.6 damage over 6 seconds. The damage shield strength capped at 40% of your max health. All active up to 3 times when spell damage is absorbed. You restore 1.1k Magicka. Each piece of light armor 1 increases the magic restored by 6%. Inner Light. I ain't got to really worry about that first part in PVE. While slot, your max Magicka is increased by 5% and you gain Major Prophecy, increasing your spell critical rating by 2.1k. So essentially, when we popped that pot, the spell power pot, to get Major Prophecy and stuff like that, it didn't go up because we already have it thanks to Inner Light, but we still run this because we want that extra 5%. And if you level up your Mage's Guild, you're actually going to get 9%, because there's passives within the Mage's Guild slot that gives you 4% for each Mage's Guild ability slot. So we have 1, so we're getting the 4% from that, which will increase our recovery as well and our max Magicka. So it's 9 there. And then on front bar, Fiery Rage, create a storm that targets. Wow, okay, I just had a brain fart. My bad. Create a storm at the target location that builds for 2 seconds and lays waste to all enemies in the area, dealing 10k flame damage every 1 second for 7 seconds. It says 10k, but you will do a lot more than that, because you're going to get 10k. You're going to get damage from this, the 10% more damage from all fire damage abilities. So with that, it's going to be a lot more. I don't think I've ever seen this actually hit for 10k. It's normally around 18k a tick. So it's definitely really strong. The reason why we're running it on our front bar instead of our back bar is due to the fact we do not have a Destruction Staff ability here. So we need it on our front bar so we can get the Tri-Focus passive from the increasing our heavy attacks, deal additional 12% additional damage. So we don't heavy attack that much, but it is nice to have. So we need it on here with all these, because as you can see underneath them, it says with Destruction Staff equipped. So we just want to be able to have these abilities slotted. Back bar, Blockade of Fire. Slam your staff down to create a flaming barrier in front of you, dealing 2.1k flame damage to enemies in the target area every 1 second. Burning enemies take 20% more damage from this ability. This will also increase our light attacks. So you can see our light attack, 6.6 crit, 3.9 uncrit. So with this, 607 uncrit, 10k, or 3.2, no, 10k when it crits. So, Eruption. Summon a scorching cloud of ash at the target location, reducing enemy movement speed by 70%, and deals 1.9k flame damage every 1 second. Deals 5.1k flame damage immediately. This has an 18-second cast time, and this has an 8-second cast time. So make sure you're not overcasting this, because it does cost a lot of Magicka. So you're basically going to cast it every second rotation. Flames of Oblivion. Activate an aura of flames which launches fireball at the nearest enemy every 5 seconds, dealing 6.7k flame damage. While slotted, you gain major prophecy and major savagery, increasing your spell and weapon critical rating by 2.1. You know, we're already getting that from Inner Light, so not a big deal. Trap Beast. You do want rearming Trap, but for some reason why this will not gain any experience for me, whether I have it on my front bar, back bar, or if I turn in a quest with it equipped, for some reason why it is not gaining experience. I've put in a help ticket to Zos. I just don't know why. As you can see, I've had this equipped for a while now, and it still has yet to gain any experience, so I've not been able to level it. You do want to change this to rearming Trap, so that way once it's able to level, you know, it's not really for the damage that it does, and the physical damage is nice, but it's more or less being used for the amount of force, increasing your critical damage down by 10%. So more likely what I will end up doing is that I will change this for channel acceleration, which comes from the Sigic line, which if I'm not mistaken you unlock it like level 5. So that is a good one to use if you don't want to use Trap Beast. It does cost Magicka though, so I'm using Trap Beast because it costs stamina, and our abilities already cost so much Magicka, it just kind of bounces out. And we have Inner Line with back bar because we got a double bar in order to get the bonus. And then we run Standard Might. Call down a battle standard, dealing 3.3k flame damage every 1 second for 17 seconds to enemies, and applying major defile to them, reducing their healing received and health recovered by 30%. Standing in the area increases your damage done and reduces damage taken by 15%. An ally near the standard can activate the Shackle synergy, dealing 10.3k flame damage to enemies in the area and immobilizing them for 5 seconds. When we start a fight, if we have ultimate, we're going to use Fiery Rage, because that is a quick ult. It's going to do a ton of damage to begin with, and we'll be good. But we should have all of our dots on them at that point. You know, as the battle progresses, you shouldn't let your dots drop. So after that, we're going to use Standard Might. Costs just as much ultimate, and what this is going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us, because we already have our dots down, they're going to do 15% more damage. So we're essentially, this is going to get us started. Then after we're started, we're going to be using this because everything's going to get a 15% increase in damage. That's why we run this. And I've heard some different opinions on this. This will stack with like the buff from Master Architect or War Machine, because this is not giving you Major Slayer. It is just increasing your damage done by 15%. I've heard some people arguing, but this is not giving you Major Slayer, so you're good. It will still give you that 15% increase from Master Architect or War Machine if someone in your group is running it, and you will still get the 15% increase from this as well. So, I believe I have touched on everything. Champion points, yep. So, if you don't have Burning Spellweave Inferno, or if you don't have Moondancer, you can go with Julianos or Seducer. And if you don't have Burning Spellweave, you can go Silk of the Sun. Silk of the Sun is not a bad set. It's going to give you 400 damage to your flame damage abilities, which is what we're running. We're pretty much running nothing but fire. And then you can go Julianos for increase in damage, if you don't, or you can go Seducer to reduce the cost by 8%. It's not a bad setup. So, either way, that is the build, and until next time.